Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League Season 2. We are here with some Week 2 action. My name is Kiki. I'm one of the co-founders of the Rainbow Pitch League, and this week we have another co-founder. If you could please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Elaine. I'm also, yes, a co-founder, as you so graciously said, Kiki. I'm excited. We haven't commentated a game together since last season, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
It
So
was a great time. So this week, what matchups do we have here? Who do we have?
we have Mercy Bickell, our reigning champion, on New and Robin Avenoso. I hope I said that right. On Azalea, and it looks like Robin is going first here, taking up Tunic to 1.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting a pitch on the first turn immediately. I have to assume we're probably going to set up for like a 5-card turn. We could go for a blind Azalea, try to get some dominate damage in. Mercy here has a very defensive style deck with new. Assassins tend to try to make the game go a bit longer, as we can see with the headpiece as well. We have that Assassin Mask, which of course you can pitch HE to make your opponent banish a card from their hand. Um, Also, we should probably mention that Robin also has quite a name herself in the Rainbow Pitch League, being a top 8 competitor and also first after Swiss from last season.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. Like I think these are two heroes I'm excited to see play each other, but also these two players are just really good players. And I mean, yeah, like you said, Robin was a top 8, Mercy is our reigning champion. So this is going to be a good game, and Robin is showing us that this is going to be a good game coming with this dominated arrow turn 1.
Yes, indeed. Not only do we have the Dominate here, we have a Lace. I believe that's the Frailty, I want to say. We'll find out if a token comes up. But more crucially, we have a Seek and Destroy on this as well. So this is coming in for absolutely massive, I want to say 10 damage. Um, but also, this, if it hits, means that Mercy's not going to be able to Arsenal in the next turn, which is a fantastic sort of play to have here. You're going to force Mercy to use all of her cards next turn functionally, not be able to set anything up. And also, this is just really difficult to block on turn 0, where you really want to be blocking with as many cards as possible to keep your life total high. And here we go. We got a block with a stealth card, I believe. I can't remember which one that is exactly, but it exists. And we're taking 7 damage here, so I was correct on the 10 damage output from this uh, drill shot. And we're getting the -1 counter on the mask already, giving that -1 defense. Not really in a piece of equipment that you want to block with early on, but it's definitely going to affect any potential late game blocking as well. The mask not really being a piece of equipment you mind also losing. So this could definitely stop some, or rather, could help with some on hits coming through later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, really like definitely Robin setting herself up right here for a very good turn 0. The inertia token, and that was a just a nick out of Mercy's hand, which is a card that you don't really want to see played against you. Plus, taking away that life shell, like you already mentioned on the equipment block, is pretty crucial. So I'm curious to see what Mercy comes back here with.
Mm-hmm.
Like the inertia token's gonna try and force her to play her whole hand.
For sure, for sure. And of course, being me, I've already gotten 2 cards wrong. That was the Lace with Inertia, and obviously not a stealth card. We have the Just a Nick in the discard pile. So we have swung it back to Mercy and her turn. Looks like we're just going to take a little moment here to think about the potential lines. 4 cards in hand for Mercy, 4+1 for Robin. So now might be a good time to have a little discussion about the equipment that we see over here. Could you tell me a bit about the arm piece and leg piece that we're seeing on Mercy's side here? Oh no, let's just
Yeah,
go
of
straight to
course.
attacking.
Oh.
We can save that conversation for later. We have a Beckoning Mistblade. So this Beckoning Mistblade attacks for 1 with the Go Again, and it threatens to give +1 and Go Again to the next blue attack played. Nu being one of the many, and by many I mean 3 heroes of Part the Mistveil, really emphasizes blues, and we're going to see that here with the levels of Enlightenment. The modes chosen here are +1 and draw a card because it's got the go again from the dagger already. So here, it's just a lot of great value. We're using that extra pitch that we have left over. We're getting in for a sizable amount of damage, and the turn's going to keep on going. Have you had any experiences with levels of enlightenment? Seen the card played?
I actually have not. I haven't had a chance to play the card, and I don't think I've had the card played against me. I've opened a few extended arts of it. I know it's, I know it's a good card. It's very pretty.
It is a fantastic card. Within my testing circles, it has been described as the second best card in the set, first being the Traverse, the headpiece. But also, it's gone comparisons to E Strike. With of course, it's
Yeah.
+2 mode, it's draw card mode, it's go again mode. Like it is the Mystic E Strike. It's been referred to, and the obvious upside of pitching 3 is fantastic for a card of this power level. Um, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just have
I
these
have I
powerful
have
like
heard
pseudo
it called like,
generics.
yeah, the off-brand E-Strike. Did you no, you played Prism at Nats, sorry.
I did play Prism, yeah. I did have levels of enlightenment in my draft deck though, and I did get 5 damage
Oh.
draw card off it. It was very good. Um, and here we have the Spider's Bite. This is an Arachne classic almost, the original assassin weapon that we saw. This one will give -1 defense to the next attack action being blocked with. Oh, and another Arachne classic, we are seeing Leave No Witnesses.
Leave no
This attack.
witnesses.
Mhm. This attack is a 0 cost 4 with a super powerful on hit of banishing the arsenal as well as the top card of your opponent's deck should it hit. And then for every red banished, you create a silver token. Of course, unlike the other assassins, this hero isn't playing any sort of ways to take advantage of the silver via repurchasing their equipment. Um, but this is just a really super efficient hand for Mercy. Um, just being able to play all the cards, disrupt Robin's arsenal as well, which was pretty key. There was a buff for Robin in the arsenal, but also I believe we just saw Red in the Ledger hit the banish zone.
I believe so, yeah.
That's going to be massive. Like these assassins do a lot of the time want to hit with at least one of the daggers beforehand to like kind of push a little bit of damage through, but most importantly, kind of make their attacks even more disruptive. And Red in the Ledger is a great way to stop that. But here we have another drill shot going into Arsenal, drawing a card with the red in the not red in the ledger, the Death Dealer. Sorry.
The death, yeah. Read the glide path.
For those who don't know, what does Read the Glide Path do?
Read the glide path gives it plus. It's an opt card and it buffs your next attack. So I think that's a red. Yeah, that's a red. Read the glide path. So it's gonna give +3 to your next arrow attack. And we saw Robin opt 1 and come in with a bunch more stuff. Oh. Oh my goodness. So this is a read the glide path. I believe that's another lace with inertia into another seek and destroy into an endless arrow this time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is dominated again. Yes, the
Yes.
Azalea activation. Wow.
And what's really funny was that before this game, I mentioned that this deck doesn't really want to pitch ever, and the 3 copies of Knock the Death Whistle are likely never to be pitched. But here we see it in the pitch zone.
Oh
And
my. So this is a dominated endless arrow for 13. Oh,
this is absolutely massive. 13 damage with Dominate. This is almost guaranteed to hit at this point, especially without any sort of arsenal to have a defense reaction. And Robin's going to be able to arsenal this Endless Arrows again for either late in the game or even just as soon as the next turn. One of the things that we used to see from Azalea that we're not going to see here is the Bullseye Braces, which is not the equipment that we have on the board. But that would have allowed Robin to potentially activate the bullseye braces and play this endless arrows again in the second time this turn to try to encourage blocks. But we're not going to see that because instead we have the new majestic arm piece from part the Mist Veil, the long draw half glove. So that one allows you to kind of give a damage bonus at the cost of cards to your attack, but it's an instant, so it plays around things like Warmongers Diplomacy that could come up later. But for now, crucially, it's not a Bullseye Braces to try to force more cards to block with. But I don't think Robin's too upset about that.
It is nice that this is an instant attack. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll see the activation um, on this because I think a 13 dominated arrow, seek and destroy, lace with inertia is probably enough. Probably not needed for the +4 instant from the long draw half gloves, but it is a good. I think that's a pretty good card.
It's a pretty fantastic card, yeah, for sure. But like you said, this Endless Arrows is definitely scary enough as is.
These turns have just been kind of insane. Like this is turn 2. We had turn
Mm-hmm.
0, turn 1, and turn 2, and we're coming in with a. This is the second Lays with Inertia, Seek and Destroy. We see Mercy Block with an E Strike, taking 10 damage,
Mm-hmm. And we
taking
have that
another
Inertia token back.
Inertia.
And of course, we also have the Seek and Destroy trigger as well, as if the Inertia wasn't enough. Just really wants to make sure that you have no cards at the end of this turn. And there we see the non off brand E Strike, the actual Enlightened E Strike, being blocked with. There we go. And Robin still had a card to Arsenal as well, which is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous, yeah.
Oh, that's the Sacred Art being pitched there, so we're obviously not going to be transforming that Sacred Art this turn, but very exciting to see. The Sacred Arts are a very cool cycle of Transcend cards for the 3 Mistveil heroes. So we're not going to see any
Robin's
sort of
just
chi
gonna take
activations.
that.
Mm-hmm. Giving +1 to this next blue. If there is another blue, we have 2 resources remaining here. We have a Spider's Bite coming in for 1. This is some really good play by Mercy, I think. Like, my assumption is that there's a 2-cost attack coming up after this, but attacking with a Mistblade first kind of make your opponent guess to see if there's, like, a blue potentially coming up, but then coming in the Spider's Bite. And here we have Command and Conquer once again threatening the
Command and
arsenal.
Conquer.
What a fantastic card. What a fantastic sequence. That Spider's Bite hit. So all of Robin's 3 defense arrows are now going to be struggling to block into this Command and Conquer that's going to hit this arsenal. There's no blocks declared. Going down to 22, we are just throwing haymakers at each other. And of course, there's that Endless Arrows that we knew about. Oh, that makes sense, yeah. That was the one card in hand, was the Endless Arrows.
Yep, yeah. The endless arrow that went back to. It's okay. I was gonna say the same thing though. I think really smart play from Mercy there, kind of hide the information. But and then use your whole hand. That inertia token doesn't really have much impact on you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But we'll see what Robin comes back with because these plays have been kind of nasty. It's just been okay. We've got premeditate.
I think that's Remorseless.
Oh, is that remorse? Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have another Lace with, and I think this one's Frailty. And we're coming in with Remorseless for 8 with a Frailty token on hit. And of course, the Remorseless trigger. Remorseless was illustrated by Sam Yang, which is going to throw that out there. Fantastic fab artist. But this is coming for 8. On hit, it will mean that any action cards that Mercy plays next turn will make her lose 1 life. Which is pretty powerful into a lot of decks. Mercy's deck will only tend to play 1 actual action card at most, more often than not, sometimes 2. So the on hit isn't the most pressing here, but the damage sure certainly is, especially with that frailty counter giving -1 to the daggers as well. They
So
functionally
the
become,
frailty is
yeah, the weapons will just be non-functional, right?
yep. That's pretty good. Remorseless is such a brutal card to
For sure. It really synergizes really well with turning off the weapons with this frailty token, as well as now forcing your opponent to play cards, which is really cool. Um, One
So
thing I
just a
want to
really good
mention. Oh yeah.
combination for against a new player. That's really good.
For sure. For sure. Not super relevant to the game, but I like that the dice and the sleeves match like the aesthetic of the playmat as well. There's just a lot of pink going on, and it just looks really nice.
You know, when I was editing this, when I got these files from the players, I was like, gosh, Robin used the same mat last season. And I remember because this whole setup just makes me really want sherbet ice cream, like our background, our background with the with the shock charmers playmat. Like it's just so it makes me hungry. Like it's so pretty. I just want to eat it, you know? A little off topic, but like it's just so pretty. So shout out to Robin again for using another beautiful playmat
Oh, for sure.
that
And
makes
making us
makes
hungry.
me hungry. Yeah, making us hungry.
I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm definitely feeling it. And, we
I
can get a
just
little
ate
bit off
dinner.
topic. Ah, I'm so jealous.
It's just gonna
We
take a
can get a
while to
little bit
think
off
here
topic.
too because these on hits are pretty or they're kind of gnarly, right? You make your
Hmm.
weapons basically defensive, and then also you'll lose a life for every action point, every action card you play. Um, So the good thing about this is that it's not dominated, so Mercy can block it
Hmm.
if she chooses to. You still have a little bit of block on the equipment, which I guess maybe we can talk about the equipment now.
True. And blocking of the equipment isn't a bad idea here as well. Like with the battle worn on the arm piece and the leg piece. If you're intending on using them in the next few turns, like this is a good opportunity to kind of just gain that extra life. And here we're going to see at least one of them coming up. Um, and also, these equipments are really great. Like if you want to partially block this attack, these equipments will give you reactions, which crucially are not action cards. So it gives you ways to spend your resources, do a turn without actually losing too much life to the trigger on this potential remorseless. For those who don't necessarily know what these equipments are and what these reactions are, do you want to tell our lovely viewers?
The arms are arousing waves. The arms we look like we're getting a block from right now. So they're both plus cost one attack reactions, like you already mentioned. But the cool thing about them for new is that they're an attack reaction and they create an attack reaction in your hand that's free. So Fang Strike is made from the arousing waves, which Fang Strike is plus one to your attack action cards, and then the Undertow Stilettos, which I love the art on that card as well, is also a one cost attack reaction. Destroy this and create a slither in your hand, and slither gives your next attack go again, or your current attack if you react with it as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is super crucial for a lot of the new specific reactions because they care. Sorry, actions because they care about the number of reactions you're playing in the turn. So, for example, a card like Double Trouble, which I don't believe I saw on this list, wants you to play 2 reactions, but also there are some that want you to play 3. So these equipments are a really good way to kind of trigger these without having to use cards in your hand. And the threat of them just existing in play really makes your opponent think. Um, so we cracked the Snapdragon Scalers on that Remorseless. We want more cards out of Mercy's hand. She wasn't giving it to us. And we have a Codex of Blood Rot. Bloodpox? It's the Blood Codex.
The blood one, yeah, the bloody one. This is also a really interesting. I'm curious to see what we see from Mercy this turn because that remorseless was only blocked with the arousing wave. So
Hmm.
Mercy said, "I'm going to save one life here, but I'm going to take these nasty on hits from frailty and remorseless, and a double remorseless."
Robin is the gift that keeps on giving. You wanted one Remorseless? Let's give you another.
Yeah. Hey, you took the first one. You wanna lose 2 life every time, and giving the blood rot. Like, oh my goodness.
There's so much incidental damage coming through with this. So, of course, the Blood Rot Codex forcing Mercy to put a card from hand in Arsenal, I think, or is it top of deck? Crucially, means that Mercy has to discard, and this is just sequenced really well with the inertias in the previous turns, really forcing Mercy to not have an arsenal. And now we're taking cards out of hand because she doesn't have an arsenal with this codex. And I probably
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like Mercy's like now incentivized to actually block the second one, because now you're going to be losing 2 lives every
Right.
time you play a card. Like, this will
Plus the blood rot
functionally.
pox, right? And for
Exactly.
anyone, if anyone doesn't know what blood rot pox is, at the beginning of Mercy's end phase, it's an aura that'll get destroyed, and it'll deal 2 damage to Mercy unless Mercy can pay 3 resources. So that's 2 damage that Mercy's potentially taking at the end of her turn, plus any damage from action cards played off the remorseless. Potentially 2 damage every time you play an action card. That's a lot of damage.
It all adds up. Like,
Yeah,
playing one card will make you lose 4 life functionally if you can't pay for that blood rot pox as well. Which makes me wonder, is this like a turn where you do in fact go for that pivot sort of block? Like, you have a card in Arsenal, you can potentially afford to like block 2 cards here and then pitch a blue to the blood rot pox, meaning that you're going to take 0 damage overall, but of course you're giving up your entire turn to deal no pressure, have no pressure back on Robin. Do you think that's a potential line we could see here?
I think so too, right? These players are racing at this point, but Robin has done a really good job about like Robin went turn 0, which is not ideal when you're trying to race someone, but Robin, that turn 0 was incredible. And then just has continued to put up these really good attacks. So I think that Mercy kind of has to take a turn off and try and gain back some momentum, which it looks like we'll see with I believe that was a bonds block and a hiss.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. We did get the block for 6 there. We blocked with the blue there as well, which makes me think that Mercy will be able to pay for this Blood Rot Pox. Um, and of course, the weapons are turned off as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. It shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Although she is. No. Oh, there's something coming out. We have a weakest link. We are going to take some damage this turn. We are coming in for 5 because of the frailty token as well. So I don't know what 0 defense cards Robin has for this weakest link, but it is a very exciting card. But I think it's functionally vanilla in this situation specifically. I guess Mercy, in this case, just wants to try to even out the life totals a bit. We are getting a block, so we're defending for 3 here. As of now.
Yep, there's knock the death whistle. Looks like Robin's gonna take 2. All right.
And we get to see the full hand here, so we get a bit more information about the turn. We have a infecting shot, a arcane rising +3 with reload. Take aim.
Take aim. Yes.
And
Arcane
we have.
Rising +3 with reload.
I got. If we were playing Fable, like, I got everything down other than the name. And we have
No,
the
that was
third
really
copy of
good.
Knock
That
the
was
Death
really
Whistle.
good.
Yeah. You can tell how long I've been in this game by the basis that I know what old cards do, and then I just can't tell you the names of new cards. But it is a decent hand filled with a bit of power. We're getting to. Oh, Bolton Shot! So we're going to see what's the top card of the deck, maybe see if there's any plays that line up there, but Bolton Shots line up really well with any sort of pumps, as we saw for the entirety of Season 1 of the Rainbow Pitch League, as Lexi made her way through the field with multiple of these Bolton Shots coming through. Speaking of Bolton, the Bolton Army deck will be available by the time you watch this video.
No free ads, but yeah. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. We clearly support special.
In their defense, they advertised us. They made a post for us on their Twitter page, so I think it's only fair. And here we have
The
that Bolton
Crucible
Shot.
of War +3. it's gonna give that, but this is important, right? Because Bolton Shot gets go again from that take aim or Crucible of War +3 reload, whichever you prefer. So this Bolton Shot is gonna come in for 7 with go again, on hit reload. It's got the go again because its attack value is higher than its base from the take aim.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing Mercy can consider here is that the reload functionally has no effect here. Um, she knows that Robin's hand is the Knock the Death Whistle, which is a blue, and so she can activate the Death Dealer if she wants, and then the other one is the Infecting Shot. So we're probably going to see double arrows regardless. We're going to have to pitch the Knock the Death Whistle because there's no tunic. So the reload doesn't actually add anything. So you could almost just take this hit anyway, knowing that Robin's not going to reload. But of course, if you take this hit,
You had 13 life. 7 is a lot of damage. This is the first time we are
yeah,
seeing. I think this game actually. I think this is the first time we're seeing just vanilla damage from Robin. Right? There's no on hits here.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Aside from the reload, which you already explained is essentially it's not really doing much.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I mean, when your opponent's on 13, you're happily still going to send 7 go again, even if it has no relevant on hit.
Oh
And
yeah.
of
Oh yeah.
And of course, that infecting shot's also representing 7 damage in the sense that it gives a blood rot pox, should it hit. So
Should it hit?
Robin's presenting functional lethal this turn.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see. I think Mercy taking a minute to think here, as she should, right? Functionally, this is a lethal turn.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Not looking good for our inaugural champion. We're contemplating the damage, and here we go. We are going down to 6. More than 50% of her life total was taken from that one attack. Remaining life total, I should say. With a 6 to 20 lead, the combat chain is closing because we are getting a Death Dealer activation.
And Robin is still sitting at 20 life. Mercy at 6.
Mm-hmm. And we have a buff as well. That's another Blood
Oh
Rot. This is
no!
a must block at this point. 5 damage with 2 Blood Rots on hit. Sorry, 8
So
damage.
it's
It's a lace.
8 damage because of the lace. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And this is where that -1 counter at the start of the game is going to come in as well. Like, if you're Mercy, you're kind of okay to block 2 cards and the headpiece here, normally, but there's a -1 counter on there. So now you're giving up, if you want to block with only 2 cards in hand, you're giving up both the headpiece and the leg piece, meaning that it's going to be much harder to stop breakpoints after this point without giving up the tunic as well, which you don't really want to give up this turn because it has 3 hot, fresh counters on there ready to be used next turn. Why did I say that?
3 hot, fresh. I'm sorry, is that what you said?
just, I think I'm still thinking about.
Right, I heard that right. I think my brain's slowly registering that you said 3 hot, fresh tunic counters ready to be used.
Yeah,
They
you
are
know.
hot and ready at your service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mercy, really thinking about this, like this is kind of crucial. This is the lace
For
with
sure.
blood rot adds some math here that was not.
Oh yeah. And I think the lace was also kept on top with the skullbone cross wrap. So like Robin knew what
Yeah.
was happening. And here we go. We have 2-3 blocks with the venomous bite and the leave no witnesses, and we're giving up the mask and the leg piece here. Thankfully, the leg piece value is still in play in the sense that you can activate it, but that was still pretty rough for Mercy to deal with. Is this next turn going to be enough to kind of cause enough disruption? Like, I don't imagine life totals are going to balance out too much here, unless, of course, she threatens lethal, but I doubt it. We are getting the spider's bite, 1 resource remaining, with the tunic. So we could see some stealth
Yeah,
cards still
yeah.
in play here.
So stealth cards are a 2 attack, but you if you pop the tunic, go up to 2 resources.
Mm-hmm. It'll give you access to the 2 attack reactions on the board, plus the attack reactions you gain in hand, and that would give you enough should this be a persuasive prognosis. Which it's not. It is a codex, which could be a persuasive prognosis. I think we blocked with one earlier. But of course, Codex of Frailty has been a super powerful card since its inception. Um, been discussed as potentially one of the best cards to ever exist in the game. Not necessarily from a fun point for your opponent, but in terms of raw power level. But we're getting the classic Command and Conquer here.
Yeah, and then this, yeah.
This is going to threaten whatever arrow Robin finds at this point to put in the arsenal. And of course, that frailty token is going to make almost, if not all, of Robin's attacks weaker due to the basis that Rangers play from the arsenal a lot of the time with their attacks. So we're just seeing a very solid 2-card hand here of weapon into Command and Conquer. And this is the kind of disruption that Mercy was looking for.
Yeah, this is really efficient for Mercy, and the frailty, like you said, weakens essentially like potentially all of Robin's attacks. We haven't seen an attack from hand at this point, so there may be one in there, but it's safe to assume that you're going to be attacking from Arsenal. So when you're sitting at 6 life, just one less on those attacks can make a difference. Help with the
Mm-hmm.
break points as well.
Exactly. So we have 6 damage coming through. Command and Conquer, an Arcane Rising classic, one might say. The Arcane Rising 2-cost 6 power that destroys Arsenal. Um, what I really like about this line is that this uses up Mercy's tunic counters, meaning that she's now able to kind of block with it somewhat freely. If she doesn't expect the game to go on for 3 more turns, then you have this bonus 1 block now without the downside of losing those tunic counters.
Yeah, yeah. The ponder token too is really like Mercy just got a card in Arsenal, which is don't know what that card is, but I mean
But it's
cannot
big here.
complain about getting a card in Arsenal when the life and game is this close to the end. So we've got a Lace with Frailty into a Drill Shot.
Mm-hmm. So the still shot, really interesting. It's basically saying to Mercy that you need to block this out or give me the tunic, because if you don't, you're going to lose the defensive value on the tunic anyway. So we could see a 2-card block here plus the tunic to kind of stop this 7 damage, and gain the value, quote unquote, on the tunic. Uh, I don't really know what other lines we have here. We have 1 card in hand for Robin to Arsenal at the end of this turn as well. So, this is definitely not the strongest line we've seen from Robin, but that was partially due to the fact, or entirely due to the fact, that there was a Command and Conquer sent her way. Um, yeah, so this is just kind of a good way to not lose too much tempo on that Codex of Frailty turn. Like, this is still disruptive, it's still demanding answers to this. And we're still going to be set up with 5 cards and potentially a Skullbone Crosswrap activation in the following turn. This is a tough spot to be in if you are our reigning champion.
Yeah, coming in for exactly lethal. I can imagine that Mercy's going to take a while to think on this block as well, right? These are the game ending decisions right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think potentially Mercy's thinking, if Rain Razors is something you have to think about.
True, of course. That's not something I considered here. Rain Razors could be backbreaking. Like, that 1 card in hand looks so innocuous as like an arsenal card for
It's
the end
just
of the
kind of
turn.
sliding.
Just, yeah, you know,
Robin
if
saying, "Is it Rain Razors? I've got 1 card,"
you
which
got
you know it. I think at this point it's something that isn't potentially in the back of Mercy's mind.
mhm. Something they have to think about at the very least, right? Like, do I just lose, or maybe the question is, can I afford to play around it? Looks like we're getting a deck count here. I don't think we're going to be hitting the pitch stack, if I had to guess. There's still a lot of cards in deck here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of cards.
It would be a bold play to no blocks this year.
But that might also be like, okay, let me get a deck count to see if we're not hitting the pitch deck, is Rain Razor still in your deck? Like,
Yeah. I think that's definitely what we're seeing here. You're exactly right. How many cards have we seen? We've seen 0 Rain Razors so far. What's the percentage of that one card in your hand being my downfall?
yeah, I think that's what's going on.
I don't think I've seen any defense reactions on Mercy's side so far. Have you noticed any that I've missed?
I have not. No, I have not seen any. Unless we both missed it, but I have not. I've not seen any.
Just having a quick look at this list right now, it's a fairly aggressive lineup. Like, I don't see that many defense reactions. Um, so it's possible there's just no defense reactions here, and Mercy is going for a racing sort of strategy.
These players have been racing. This has been, I mean, this has been quite an exciting game, I have to say.
Is this turn 4? I want
Wait,
to say.
there's no way. Turn
No,
4.
no, no. No, no. It has to be at least turn 5. There's 2
No.
counters on the tunic. Okay.
I think this is turn 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting ahead of myself. Or forgetting an entire turn cycle. And of course, I did the math wrong as well. The arrow is coming in for 6 and not 7. So you could just give 2 cards up here without giving up the tunic, but of course, the real question is that Rain Razors?
Right, it's coming in for 6 because of the frailty token. So,
Yeah.
drill shot, yeah, drill shot has a base of 3 here, getting plus 3 from the lace with inertia, lace with frailty, lace with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, we are getting a
It
tunic
looks like
block here.
Mercy's like
We're just going to 1.
potentially, if this is all Mercy, looks like Mercy saying, okay, this is
Mercy
definitely
wants.
going. Yep.
Whoa! Oh! Tunic
Mercy
defense is
said,
so strong.
"Block with tunic. Do you have rain razors?" Robin
Mm-hmm.
said, "Nope. I'm gonna arsenal and I'm gonna pass back."
Our champion has her back up against the ropes. It is 1 to 13 going into Mercy's turn. The frailty token is live. So these daggers aren't coming in for anything, but she really wanted this 5 card hand. Like, I'm expecting some power.
Mercy said, I have to play to my outs at this point if I want to win the game. So I'm going to take a little bit of a risky line, I guess, potentially. And we have to go to 1 here and see if I can take back the momentum.
Speaking of 1, we have an Art of Body coming in. Art of Body? Is that the name of it? Art of Desire, rather. Mind. Art of Desire Mind. Coming in for 1 damage, which is obviously not enough to swing lethal here, but with these 4 cards in hand, plus access to 2 equipment, like, there's a lot of bluffing going on in this turn to try to get disruption. We
Yeah,
are
this card
getting.
does.
Oh. Oh?
Okay. That's a red venomous bite and a red hiss. So this
Mm-hmm.
is what? Oh, okay. With the fang strike. Oh my gosh!
And
Wait.
Justin Nick. Hold on. Hold on. What's happening? How much damage do we have? That's
Hold
1,
on.
2, 5, 8,
No, that's
12. This is 13.
13. This is plus 13.
5, 8, 11, 12. This is
Yeah.
plus 13. This is
Yes.
a 14
This
damage
is
attack being
plus
blocked for
13.
1?
Oh my, yeah.
No way. From literally out of
Yeah.
nowhere, Robin felt too comfortable with this attack, coming in for only 1, not realizing that this was going to be the end of the game. Oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
Mercy just showing. What just
Wow.
happened?
And Mercy, our reigning champion, remains undefeated in in season 2 as well.
Hmm.
This is, I mean, what a game. What just happened?
And this was like a
Gosh.
super tough position to be in. Like, if you're Robin, your opponent has these cards, and you see a go again kind of reaction available to you, you're probably thinking that Mercy wants you to overblock in this first attack so the second attack can come in with all this extra power. But no, that wasn't the case. We have just gone to 14 power out of nowhere to come in for lethal.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, like fantastic game from both players. Like this was so impressive. I mean, Robin really did such a good job of like holding on the momentum and playing correctly there. Like,
Hmm.
what were you supposed to do? Block around plus 13? Like, I just don't know if there's anything that could have been done in that situation. And then Mercy, that gamble paid off by not playing around the rain razors.
Hmm.
Wow.
And from Mercy's point of view, I think you're in the kind of case of like, I have such little life left, such little time. I just have to hope my opponent guesses wrong on the gamble.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Mercy taking a gamble there and it really paid off taking, wow. But yeah, I mean, not playing or, yeah. Wow. Well, that was a good game. Should you do you want to close us out, Kiki?
Sure. Okay, so on behalf of myself and Elaine, thank you for watching week 2 of the Rainbow Pitch League Season 2, and we look forward to seeing you next week for week 3, where we have another bounty game coming up, so keep your eyes peeled.
Bye.